My name is Omar Haddad. I'm 42 years old, a single father, and a janitor. Most days, people don't even see me. I show up before the sun rises, mop in hand, and leave after the offices are dark. The world walks past me like I'm part of the floor I clean. And that's okay, because my world isn't in these shining glass towers. It's in a little 2-bedroom apartment in the south end of the city, where my 8-year-old daughter Lena waits with her science homework and a crooked smile that somehow holds my whole life together. I came to this country 10 years ago with nothing but a backpack and a photo of my wife. Cancer took her before Lena could even say, "Mama." Since then, it's been just the two of us. I work nights so I can walk her to school in the morning. I take extra shifts so she can have her violin lessons, her books, her bright future. I clean the 30th floor of the Milbourne Tower, the one with the sweeping skyline view, the impossible silence, the glass-walled boardrooms where billion-dollar decisions are made. It's the headquarters of Hyrotech, a company so rich they once threw out a solid mahogany desk because it had a scratch. That morning, I had just finished mopping the hallway outside the executive boardroom. I had my earbuds in, listening to an old Arabic lullaby my wife used to hum. Lena loved it when I sang it to her before bed. I didn't even notice the men in suits filing into the boardroom behind me. Executives, lawyers, investors. I only looked up when the door opened and someone called out sharply, "Who let him in here?" I froze. My mop stopped mid-stroke. A woman in a pencil skirt and red lipstick gave me the kind of smile people reserve for gum on their shoe. "We're about to meet the Crown Prince's investment delegation," she said to her assistant. "We can't have this in the background." Her voice sliced the air. I nodded quickly, pulling my cart to leave. Then came the voice, deep, polite, and slightly accented. "Excuse me." The room went still. An older man in a navy suit had stepped through the glass door. His eyes weren't on the executives, they were on me. He spoke again, this time in formal Arabic. "May I ask your name, brother?" My heart stuttered. It had been years since I'd heard Arabic spoken like that. Clear, dignified, like poetry carved in stone. I answered quietly, "Omar Haddad." A pause. Then the man smiled wide. "Your Arabic is pure," he said. "Where are you from? Damascus?" I replied, straightening up a little. "Before the war." The man stepped closer past the frozen executives. "I'm from Riyadh," he said. "I thought I heard a song just now. You were singing it. My mother sang it to me too." I blinked. It was my wife's favorite. Suddenly, he turned to the boardroom. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said in flawless English, "this man has given me a better memory of my mother, in 2 seconds, than this company has shown me in 2 weeks. Silence. He turned back to me. "Omar, would you sit with us? I would like to begin our meeting with someone who still remembers where he comes from." You could have heard a pin drop. One of the executives stammered, "Sir, he's not. He's just a janitor." The man, clearly the lead from the visiting investment group, looked at them flatly. "Then perhaps we've all forgotten something important." He gestured to the head of the long conference table. "Omar, please." I hesitated, still holding my mop. My hands were wet. My shoes scuffed. My uniform smelled faintly of bleach. But then I remembered Lena's face when I tell her to believe in herself, when I say that her papa may be invisible to the world, but not to her. So I walked in. And I sat down. And for the next hour I said nothing. But they listened to me anyway. I sat at the long, polished table with 20 men and women in suits worth more than my year's salary. A bottle of imported water was placed in front of me. My name wasn't on a nameplate, but I could feel every eye drifting toward me, curious, uneasy, trying to fit me into their version of the world. The man from Riyadh, his name was Mr. Al Nasser, sat to my right. He leaned slightly toward me and said in Arabic, "Tell me, what do you think of this city?" I looked around. The skyline framed by glass behind us, the shimmering lights, the silent tension. "It's fast," I said, "but sometimes so fast that it forgets to look back." He smiled, nodded. Like many cities, an executive cleared his throat and opened a sleek laptop. "Shall we begin the presentation?" he asked stiffly, clearly trying to steer the room back into its usual power dynamic. "Go ahead, Al." Nasser said calmly, but his eyes were still on me. The presentation began: charts, forecasts, buzzwords, projected Q3 revenue, AI vertical integration, global acquisition expansion. It was all perfectly rehearsed, polished, and completely disconnected from life as I knew it. Halfway through, Al Nasser raised a hand. He looked at me again. Then, in front of the entire boardroom, he said in Arabic, "Omar, you have a daughter?" "Yes." I blinked. "Yes, Lena, she's 8. His eyes softened. "Tell me, when you think of her future, what does success look like to you?" The room froze again. No one knew what was happening anymore. I took a breath. "Success," I said slowly. "It's not a job title. It's not a number in a bank. It's the ability to sleep at night with a clear heart, to raise a child who is kind, who knows where she comes from, and who never looks down on someone cleaning her floor." I wasn't trying to be poetic. I was just answering honestly. But when I looked around, something had shifted. Even the executives looked unsure now, like the ground under their Italian leather shoes wasn't as firm as it had been. "Al," Nasser leaned back, hands folded. He addressed the board now in English. "You asked me to invest $500 million in your expansion strategy. You showed me graphs, jargon, and global visions." He gestured toward me. But this man showed me something I rarely see in boardrooms anymore. Humanity. He paused. "You say your company is global, yet when a man from Damascus cleaned your floors, you didn't even ask his name. Your receptionist couldn't say a single word in Arabic to greet us, and yet this janitor sang to my mother's memory better than your entire welcome committee." He stood up. "I will make my decision in 24 hours. But I'll leave you with this. If you can't see the value of a man like Omar, then I wonder what kind of vision you really have." He turned to me, extended his hand. "Thank you, brother. You reminded me why I do this." I shook his hand, still stunned. When he left, the boardroom sat in dead silence. I stood up quietly, nodded to the room, and rolled my cart out, leaving a wet trail of mop water on their polished floor. That night, I walked home to Lena. She asked if I had fixed any clogged sinks or broken coffee machines. I just smiled. "No, Habibti," I said, "but I think I fixed something else today." She didn't ask more. She just handed me a drawing she'd made, me in my janitor uniform, standing tall under a big building with stars around my head. She had drawn a crown on my head. And in that moment, I didn't need a boardroom, or a nameplate, or a seat at any table. I had everything that mattered. So the next time you pass by someone invisible, someone pushing a mop, stocking a shelf, or fixing a light, remember, greatness doesn't always wear a suit. And sometimes, the quietest man in the room speaks the loudest when it matters most. This was Omar's story, and it's just the beginning. If this moved you, don't forget to subscribe, because there are more real stories like this. Stories that remind us of what truly matters.